This is a story about how problematic relationships can lead to tragic consequences. A 16-year-old girl who had been receiving strange messages and threats was found dead in her room. The main suspect immediately became her ex-boyfriend, whom she had broken up with shortly before. To solve this tangled case, the police had to act in the best traditions of detective films, using wiretaps, hidden cameras, and resorting to tricks. In this video, we will tell you about those horrific events and answer the main question: what happened to Emma Walker? Emma J. Walker was born on March 20, 2000, in the American city of Knoxville, Tennessee. From early childhood, she was known for her energy and determination. Her dream was to become either a veterinarian or a nurse working with newborn babies. In 2014, Emma enrolled at Central High School in Knoxville, and in her very first year, she was one of the few from her class to make the cheerleading squad, which usually only accepted older students. In her free time, Emma volunteered at a local animal shelter. In her first year of high school, she met a boy named Riley Gaul. He was 2 years older, played football, and was dating another girl at the time. After some time, they broke up and Emma started dating him. At first, their romance resembled a typical American movie. The popular school athlete and the cheerleader seemed like the perfect couple, but in reality, it was all just a beautiful picture. Initially, Emma didn't tell anyone about the problems arising in their relationship. The first warning sign was Riley's unusual behavior before his prom. He told Emma he was going to the dance with his ex-girlfriend. Given the significance of prom night, Emma's friends and parents advised her to break up with Riley, but she didn't listen to anyone. However, things didn't go well for the couple after that. They fought, broke up, and got back together again. The longer this relationship dragged on, the more aggressive Riley became. He constantly tried to control Emma, down to the clothes she wore. The boy also got very angry when she spent time with friends without him. After another fight, when the couple broke up again, Riley sent Emma a series of angry messages. In them, he said she was dead to him, insulted her, and tried his best to hurt her. For Emma's parents, this was the last straw. They took away her smartphone and forbade Riley from coming to their house, but it didn't help. The couple constantly found ways to stay in touch. Their relationship continued in this rhythm for almost 2 years. Riley graduated from high school and enrolled at Maryville College, 30 kilometers from Knoxville. Emma's parents hoped the distance would finally help their daughter break up with the boy for good, but they continued to get together and break up periodically. Then their parents forbade their daughter from going anywhere except school, practice, and work. At that time, she was working part-time at a supermarket. These drastic measures finally worked. Emma truly began to distance herself from Riley and eventually decided to forget about him forever. Her parents and friends watched as her condition improved. Instead of constant stress from the tense relationship, she became cheerful and happy again. Eventually, she stopped thinking about Riley, but he absolutely did not want their relationship to end. After Emma broke up with him for good, the boy attempted to take his own life, but he was successfully revived. On November 18th, the football team of the school Emma attended won a major victory. A big party was organized for the occasion, and the girl's parents allowed her to go. Emma was having a good time, but at one point she started receiving alarming messages on her phone from an unknown number. The first message said, "Come outside alone if you don't want the one you love to get hurt." Next, she received a similar message, asking her to come out to her car. In case of refusal, the unknown person also threatening to harm someone Emma cared about. The girl was terrified. She didn't know what to do in this situation and showed the message to her friend. At that moment, a third message arrived, which read, "He's in the ditch behind the house. Too bad you didn't care about his life." Emma and her friend decided to go outside and see what was happening. Indeed, behind the house, they saw a boy lying face down on the ground. It was Riley. It looked as if he was unconscious, but when Emma and her friend approached him, the boy woke up. Riley claimed he didn't remember how he got there. According to him, someone hit him on the head and threw him into a van, after which he found himself here. Emma didn't believe this story. She was seriously frightened by all these messages, and in tears she asked Riley to leave her alone. The boy didn't argue and left. He called his friend, asked him to pick him up, and told him the same story about being kidnapped, but his friend didn't believe him and refused. The strange events continued the next day. On Saturday morning, Emma was home alone. Later, the girl was supposed to meet her mother in town. At some point, she noticed someone dressed in all black walking down her street. His face was hidden. He came to the front door of the house and began to ring the doorbell incessantly. Emma was frightened, but instead of calling the police, she sent a message to several friends. In it, she described what was happening and added, "I thought he was going to kill me." Judging from the last phrase, the unknown person left quite quickly, as she spoke of the threat in the past tense. However, after messaging her friends, she wrote to Riley and asked him to come over. The boy arrived quickly and began to calm her down. Meanwhile, Emma's mother, who was waiting for her at the designated place, started to worry and went home. There she saw Emma and Riley sitting on the porch. The mother asked the boy to leave, and he complied.
The next day, Riley called Emma about 60 times, using a friend's phone because the girl had blocked his number. However, she did not answer these calls either. That day, Emma worked her shift at the supermarket, went with her father to get ice cream, and then went home. Before bed, Emma asked her mom to wake her up early so she could wash her hair before school. On Monday, November 21st, at 6 a.m., our mom went to her daughter's room. Usually, Emma woke up very quickly, but this time she did not react to her name at all. Then her mother gently shook her leg, but there was no reaction. The mother decided to check her pulse, and to her horror, could not find one. Immediately after that, she called the police in a panic. The arriving officers and paramedics could only pronounce Emma dead. She had been dead for at least several hours. Examining the room, detectives found 2 tiny holes in the walls, and outside they discovered 2 shell casings. This indicated that the shooter was in the yard, outside the house. He was aiming at the wall, which, unfortunately, turned out to be very thin, and one of the shots hit the girl. According to doctors, she died instantly, in her sleep. Later, criminologists determined that the shots were fired from a 9mm weapon. The police immediately had a logical question: why didn't any family members hear the shots in the middle of the night? The girl's father told detectives that he did hear a few loud bangs that woke him up in the middle of the night. However, he thought it was the sound of a slamming door. The man walked through the whole house, looked into Emma's room, but noticed nothing unusual and went back to sleep. Some neighbors told the police they also heard bangs around 3 a.m. The news of Emma Walker's death quickly spread among her acquaintances and friends, but in the first hours after her body was discovered, the police had not yet disclosed the cause of death. Then all sorts of rumors began to circulate at school. Some thought she had taken her own life, others suspected an overdose, and a third group believed Emma had died in her sleep from natural causes, due to some illness. But soon everyone learned the real reason. The police quickly began to question Emma's friends and acquaintances. They were interested in who might have wanted her dead. Almost everyone it interviewed named only one person: Riley Gaul. As soon as the news of Emma's death spread through the town, Riley began to actively post strange messages on social media. Despite the fact that the police had not even revealed the cause of death, he had already managed to write how much he would miss her, and added that she is in a better place now. This was extremely suspicious. Instead of trying to find out what happened to his beloved, he had already said goodbye to her. Detectives interrogated Riley, but he denied his involvement in Emma's death. His story was as follows. On Sunday evening, he went for a walk with friends, trying to call Emma from one of their phones along the way, but the girl didn't pick up. After that, he visited his grandparents, who lived nearby. He spent less than an hour there, after which he drove back to his college dormitory. He added that he just sat in his car for several hours, crying over the breakup with Emma and looking at their photos together. Riley's roommate told the police that the boy came in at about 4:45 a.m., asked him to wake him up at 8, and went to sleep. As a reminder, Emma died at approximately 3 in the morning. During the interrogation, Riley behaved unemotionally and even passively, as if he was not concerned about what was happening. He also never once said Emma's name, referring to her simply as the girl. Riley's story, along with his behavior, seemed suspicious to the police, but there was no evidence to arrest him. However, new leads were not long in coming. Two of Riley's friends, Alec McCarthy and Noah Walton, called the police. They said that even before Emma's death, Riley had stolen a 9mm pistol from his grandparents' house. The boy had shown it to Alex, and he had asked Noah how to get rid of fingerprints on the barrel. When his friends asked why he needed a weapon, Riley gave a strange answer. He was supposedly afraid for his life and for Emma's safety, so the pistol was necessary for protection. Upon learning that his friends had turned him in, Riley became furious and demanded they stop talking to the police. After that, the boy asked them to help him get rid of the pistol. He assured his friends that he had nothing to do with Emma's death and was afraid that someone else's crime would be pinned on him. But his friends didn't believe him. Too many facts pointed to Riley's guilt. Alex and Noah went to the police again and told them about the boy's plans to get rid of the pistol. The detectives could not, under any circumstances, allow the main piece of evidence in the case to disappear, so they came up with a plan involving Riley's friends. Alex and Noah were fitted with a wire, after which they went to Riley's place, supposedly just to play video games. They are also given hidden cameras built into a fake car key fob.
At some point, the friends brought up the subject of Emma and played along with Riley when he again declared his innocence. One of them asked, "Why not just give the pistol to the police if you're innocent?" Riley's answer was extremely strange. He stated that it will just be better if the police never find his weapon. After this, the boy himself asked Alex and Noah to go with him and help get rid of the pistol. They left the house, got into the car, and headed for the Tennessee River. Riley told them the pistol was hidden at his stepfather's house. As soon as their car started moving, they were secretly followed by plainclothes police officers. Riley drove to his stepfather's house, took the pistol, hid it in a trash bag, and put it in the car. Next, they stopped at a cafe, got some food to go, and headed for the river. They drove to a parking lot from where they could walk to the water. Riley put on rubber gloves and took the weapon out of the bag. At that moment, the undercover police officers who had been following the car all this time surrounded and arrested him. In the trash bag where the weapon lay, detectives also found a set of black clothes. After this, Riley was charged with first-degree murder and a number of other crimes. He continued to deny his guilt, and the case was sent to court. The trial began in May 2018. To everyone's surprise, Riley's lawyers made an unexpected statement. They admitted that the boy did indeed shoot at Emma's house that night, but that he did not plan to harm her. According to their version, Riley merely wanted to scare the girl to make her feel the need for protection and support, which would ultimately lead her to reconcile with him. However, the prosecution did not believe this version. Despite the fact that the shots were fired at the wall, the attacker chose the exact spot where Emma's bed was located. The prosecution insisted that the shooter intentionally wanted to harm the girl. Furthermore, the prosecution was confident that Riley was the same unknown person in black clothes who had been ringing Emma's doorbell a few days before the tragedy. On May 8th, the court delivered its verdict. Riley was found guilty of first-degree murder and a number of other crimes. He continued to deny his guilt, and the case was sent to court. The trial began in May 2018. To everyone's surprise, Riley's lawyers made an unexpected statement. They admitted that the boy did indeed shoot at Emma's house that night, but that he did not plan to harm her. According to their version, Riley merely wanted to scare the girl to make her feel the need for protection and support, which would ultimately lead her to reconcile with him. However, the prosecution did not believe this version. Despite the fact that the shots were fired at the wall, the attacker chose the exact spot where Emma's bed was located. The prosecution insisted that the shooter intentionally wanted to harm the girl. Furthermore, the prosecution was confident that Riley was the same unknown person in black clothes who had been ringing Emma's doorbell a few days before the tragedy. On May 8th, the court delivered its verdict. Riley was found guilty of first-degree murder and a number of other crimes. He continued to deny his guilt, and the case was sent to court. The trial began in May 2018. To everyone's surprise, Riley's lawyers made an unexpected statement. They admitted that the boy did indeed shoot at Emma's house that night, but that he did not plan to harm her. According to their version, Riley merely wanted to scare the girl to make her feel the need for protection and support, which would ultimately lead her to reconcile with him. However, the prosecution did not believe this version. Despite the fact that the shots were fired at the wall, the attacker chose the exact spot where Emma's bed was located. The prosecution insisted that the shooter intentionally wanted to harm the girl. Furthermore, the prosecution was confident that Riley was the same unknown person in black clothes who had been ringing Emma's doorbell a few days before the tragedy. The tragic and unjust story of Emma Walker caused a great deal of public outcry. It was cited as an example of toxic relationships in which a boy's obsession leads to sad and even fatal consequences for the girl. There is no doubt that Riley Gaul is 100% guilty and deserves the maximum penalty in the state, a life sentence. In his final statement in court, Riley apologized to Emma's parents for taking their daughter from them and stated that he had always loved her. In this whole tangled case, only one question remains. Did the boy really go to Emma's house with the intent to kill her? Or was the defense's version true, and Riley did not want to harm her? Why does the second version have a right to exist? Let's be frank, Riley was far from the smartest person, as many may have already thought. It's enough to recall the frankly stupid staged kidnapping, then the ringing of the doorbell. The man tried to win back his beloved through extremely absurd methods. But what speaks most about his lack of foresight is the fact that he asked his friends to help him get rid of the pistol when they were openly working with the police and revealing all his inconvenient secrets. How naive do you have to be to trust these people in a matter where your whole life is at stake? All this suggests that the story of an accidental killing, despite all its absurdity, has the right to exist. A person as reckless as Riley Gaul could indeed do something like that in his endless attempts to get Emma back. Nevertheless, the version of premeditated murder still remains much more solid. First, Riley knew exactly where Emma's bed was, as he had been in her room many times. Yes, he couldn't see the bed through the wall, but he must have had a very good idea of its approximate location. A logical question arises. If he only wanted to scare the girl, why didn't he choose a place to shoot that was away from her bed? This would have guaranteed that the girl would not be harmed. However, none of this matters for Emma Walker anymore. Whatever the truth may be, the facts will not change. Riley is guilty and must serve his sentence. So what do you think about this whole story? Share your opinion in the comments, and don't forget to support our channel with a like if you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching.
Subscribe to the channel to listen to these real and scary stories. Sometimes these stories end well, but more often badly. It's disturbing.